I call the regular meeting of the Milliken Board of Trustees for April 14th, 2021 to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There's a conflict back there. He's clean. Will the town clerk please call roll?
Trustee Rodriguez.
Here.
Trustee Wakeman.
Here.
Trustee Granquist.
Here.
Trustee Long.
Here.
Trustee Meisner.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich.
Here.
Mayor Austin.
Yes, here. Okay, additions and deletions to the agenda. Would like to move both L&M contracts to action items. And add on to the discussion a piece on speeding in town and what we can do to curb that. Does anybody have anything else that they want to adjust on the agenda? I'll take a motion.
I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Town clerk, please call roll.
Trustee Long.
Yes. Call for a vote.
Trustee Granquist.
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman.
Yes.
Trustee Meisner.
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich.
Yes.
Mayor Austin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, coming up, we have a very special week. It'll be National Crime Victims' Rights Week from April 18th to the 24th, and we have a proclamation. Whereas Americans are the victims of more than 20 million crimes each year affecting individuals and communities, whereas victims who feel understood and supported are more likely to disclose their victimization, seek services, and participate in the justice process, whereas a multidisciplinary response involving collaboration among victim service professionals, criminal justice officials, legal professionals, medical and mental health providers, and community leaders is essential to reach and serve all victims, whereas National Crime Victims Week, April 18th through the 24th, 2021, provides an opportunity to recommit to ensuring that all victims of crime are afforded their rights and receive a trauma-informed response. Now, therefore, the town of Milliken does hereby proclaim the week of April 18th through the 24th, 2021 as National Crime Victims' Rights Week, reaffirm this town's commitment to create a victim service and criminal justice response that assists all victims of crime during Crime Victims' Rights Week and throughout the year, and to express our sincere gratitude and appreciation for those community victim service providers and criminal justice professionals who are committed to improving our response to all victims of crime so they may find relevant assistance, support, justice, and peace. And that is our proclamation. Now, I understand we have a couple of victims' rights people that have attended today. Thank you for coming out. Do you have anything that you would like to say to the board or anything?
So my name is Heather.
Ooh, if you could just please approach the podium up here. Heather. And for the record, if you could just state your name and address, we would appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So my name is Heather Wright. I'm the Victim Assistance Coordinator, and we are, my address as well?
Yes, please.
Okay. 2875 West 10th Street, Greeley, Colorado.
Thank you.
Awesome. And we would just like to thank the City of Milliken and the Chief for allowing us to serve your community. It's a beautiful community, and we are very honored to have you guys as one of our agencies we provide services to.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Any questions? None?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out. Okay, do we have any citizens' comments? Oh, we'll just glide right over that then. Moving on. Is there any discussion or comments on the minutes of our meeting on March 24th, 2021? Hearing none, I'll take a motion.
Move to approve the minutes of March 24th, 2021.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Miesner,
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman,
Yes.
Trustee Long,
Yes.
Trustee Granquist,
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich,
Yes.
Mayor Austin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Now we'll have the town administrator's report from Administrator Powell.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, the Library Coffee House opened on April 2nd. Very exciting. It has been busy. Walk in there and there's people in there all the time. It's really, I think, going to become a great gathering place for people in town and those outside of town. Food's great.
Yes.
The library district has installed custom shelving in there, so it's just giving it a very warm feeling. The books are all lined up on the shelves. There's a children's area, tables in there for those that want to sit and read or have a cup of coffee and or sandwich. So it's very touching to see that building receive this much activity. I've been continuing to work with Johnstown, Meade, and Berthoud on reviewing proposals we received regarding the broadband needs assessment and feasibility study. We received 3 strong proposals. We have been just speaking amongst these 3 proposals with each other and checking references with communities that they have worked for. We are hoping to have a preferred company selected and hopefully brought to you by April 28th. Our streets department has worked and installed on North Cora a drainage system that will hopefully every heavy rain, that far end, the north side of Cora, floods horribly. And so hopefully with this new drainage system in there, it will alleviate a lot of that, if not all of that. Getting ready for possible snow, I don't know, but our trucks are ready to go. The street sweeping route has been scheduled, and I believe they've already started. Is that not correct, Scott? Yeah.
Actually constructing signs that were open to put out on Mondays in front of the neighborhood entrances, and with the other ones that are posted on Monday for what neighborhood.
Yeah. As much as people are on social media and such, they don't always catch these things. So we thought another way to be able to let people know that their street will be swept in order to get their cars off of the road if possible. Just posting signage, letting them know when. The Parks Department has been planting some trees this week. We have Arbor Day on April 16th at Lola Park. On the east side of town, at the sign area where it's Milliken sign is there, they are redoing that section. So we're taking out all the old mulch that's in there. We're going to actually do a planting bed area with annuals, so we'll have more color on that end of town. It'll be a little more eye-catching, and then installing new mulch. Evergreen, who helped us construct and design the skate park, will be here next month. They will be inspecting the park and seeing if there's any flaws or anything that needs to be repaired, and they will be resealing the skate park for us to keep it going smooth for the kids that are using it. Also, and I don't know what the site is, Benny, you might have to help me. We're named the second safest city in Colorado in a recent report. Benny, you could speak more on that if you can, please.
Hello, Mayor, trustees. So it was a report that came out from SafeWise. It's called SafeWise Colorado. So it listed Milliken as the second safest city in Colorado, based off of the crime and the crime data. So we're pretty, and population. So we're pretty proud of that, and we're always striving to keep our communities safe, and that's our top priority is for the safety of our communities. So yeah, we're happy about it. And there was also a report from KDVR. So if you go to KDVR's website, they do talk about Milliken and the safe cities, so which is great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And what day last week the RO come back online?
Monday.
So Monday. So our RO plant is up and running once again. So hopefully we will have good luck with it continuing on through the summer months, which is where we really need it. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Apologies, I forgot to ask you for the announcement of Saturday, April 24th, the Milliken Events Committee in the town of Milliken is sponsoring the hot air balloon lift at 7 a.m. 8 a.m. the car show starts, and there will be food trucks out there. And it is all Milliken vendors that we have invited out for that at Sappington Park. So just so that you're aware, and you might come out, bring your lawn chair out, and watch the hot air balloons take off, weather permitting.
This Saturday?
Saturday the 24th. Apologies, should have gotten that to you. All right. Next up is the consent agenda, for which we have one item. That's the consideration to approve the agreement for management services with Leonard Wiest. I'll take a motion.
I have a question, Mayor, if I may. About the consent.
No questions on the consent agenda?
Well, I have a question about the contract. I can't ask about that?
No.
No, it has to be moved to an action item, which we can, is it too late to move it, or?
No. You certainly, I mean, if there's questions, you can always, but there were 2 items left on the consent agenda.
Yeah.
No, we moved both of the.
There was
The
4
Heritage
items.
House,
The Heritage House lease.
the Historical Society lease.
Oh, sorry, missed that one. Okay.
So I'll make a motion, we move the Leonard Wiest contract to the discussion agenda and proceed with the one remaining consent agenda.
Thank you.
Right.
Apologize.
Second.
Okay. So. it's
Sorry to spring
moved-
that on you. Did you need a vote for that?
Just a second.
Sorry.
Is there a problem with moving it now?
No, ma'am.
We're good? Okay. Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Let me get back, sorry. I was moving the item. Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Miesner?
Yes.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Granquist?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. So we move those items. Do we want to move them to the beginning of the action agenda? I'm open. Do you want to move them in here?
Let's say yes.
Yes. Okay. All right, so we're going to go with the first item on the action agenda being the L&M.
Do we still have one item on the consent agenda?
just did that.
We just did that.
I thought, okay, I'm behind, sorry.
You're okay.
Yeah, we just voted on that.
Okay, I thought that was the vote for the motion to move it to the consent agenda. If I'm not mistaken, that was the vote to move it to the consent agenda. So we still have to vote on the
Okay.
remaining consent.
All right, so
item.
now we'll vote on the consent agenda.
There you go.
I moved
Sorry to confuse you.
I'll take a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I seconded.
Town clerk, please call for a vote. Let's hope we know what we're voting on this time.
Okay, this is for the consent agenda. Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Miesner?
Yes.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Granquist?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes,
Motion carries.
so great.
Wahoo.
Okay.
We got passed.
All right, let's start with the contract for Project Manager Leonard Wiest. Trustee Rodriguez has a question.
Yeah, I do apologize that I did not address it at the beginning of the meeting. My question is, within the contract, I know it's a general contract. I just want to make sure that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences down where it says, whereas as an independent contractor of the town, Mr. Weiss shall have discretion and control over the means and the methods by which he performs this agreement. I just want to make sure that he doesn't, or does not have the ability or approval to do anything financial without the proper channels.
Oh, on behalf of the town?
On behalf of the town, he must.
No.
No, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on Leonard Weist's contract?
I have a question.
Okay, the question?
Do we know approximately how many hours is allotted for Mr. Weist, or what's anticipated?
Well, it depends on, so some weeks he puts in more hours than others. Typically, he's in our office 3 days a week for about 2 to 3 hours. So, but he does do work outside as well, but it's not a significant amount of time.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion we approve contract for Leonard Weist.
Second it.
Town clerk, please call for a vote. I guess we're speeding up now.
Trustee Meisner?
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Granquist?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Consideration to approve the agreement for the right-of-way mowing services with L&M Enterprises. We had a trustee with a question on that one. Trustee Rodriguez. No?
Linda.
It's me.
No, it was trustee Wakeman.
Yeah, I think
Give it just a
there
minute.
is a blank,
Yes.
2 blanks, and I think it's at the top of page 10 on the E&O insurance. I just wondered if the blanks had been filled in.
Which one?
But it's not,
It's not applicable because that box is not checked. So that section with the blanks in it is not part of the contract. If you scroll up above, the pertinent provisions have boxes in them.
So I think if I can clarify, I think what we're looking at is actually the second box under that whole section, which is commercial general liability. Professional liability, if I'm not mistaken, is for engineers, lawyers,
Okay.
that kind of a position.
Okay.
They would have what's called general liability because of it's just the
Right.
service they provide.
Okay.
So we have clarification.
Right.
Any other
Just-
questions?
Yeah.
That's good. Hearing none on this one, I'll take a motion.
I'll motion to approve the agreement for L&M for the right-of-way mowing.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Granquist?
Yes.
Trustee Meisner?
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Consideration to approve the agreement for abatement services with L&M Enterprises. I think several of us have an issue with the box checked bee extermination. We should not be exterminating bees. I believe that's supposed to be wasps that we're terminating.
correct. We wouldn't have them spray bees. And under the abatements, typically they go into a property that's in disrepair or something, and wasps tend to gather in certain places, and so they've had to do that in the past, but no, not bees.
Okay.
No,
So a little worried there.
no. Not that I've ever heard. It's been wasps.
Is it usually something where they present to you, we need to spray this area, or do they just have open authorization to do that, and then they just submit an expense?
That I don't know.
Okay.
That I don't know. And I think it would be definitely on a case-by-case basis. If we call them in, and it's generally after it's been through our code enforcement, and we've tried to contact the property owner at least once, and given them a certain amount of time before they get in there. So I can ask them to, and that's not a problem, because typically the town clerk sends them an email saying, I need this property abated.
Okay, so typically it's at your request.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I guess my concern is that there are an awful lot of people that don't know the difference between a bee and a wasp. If it's yellow and black striped, it's got to be a bee, and I think we shouldn't be encouraging the spraying of bees.
No, and I don't think they would unless there was some items on the property, like if they were picking up, say, a pile of wood, and in that pile of wood was a wasp nest. They would have to exterminate those wasps before removing.
Yeah, I personally would be more comfortable if it said wasp spray rather than bee spray.
And
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. And we can take it out completely. I think this was something that the town requested, not this year, but this is the same contract we had with them, I think, for the last 2 or 3 years. So we certainly can remove that, and I don't think they would complain.
So I think I would make a motion to approve the contract with 2.2 modified to wasp spray.
Okay.
Second.
Great motion. Good job. Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Granquist,
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman,
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
Trustee Miesner,
Yes.
Trustee Long,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich,
Yes.
Mayor Austin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Yes.
So these are both repeat contracts. Are they for the same amount as they were last time, or was there any?
The abatement is the same as it was in 2019. The amount for this year's mowing services went up, and I will say it went up considerably. We just received that information about a week ago. And so I had a conversation with L&M, Dylan Stryker, that we've dealt with there. And I explained to him we have a budget that we get approved and that we start working on early in the year, and it's approved by our town board by mid-December. And we can't. It was almost a 40% increase. And I said if there is going to be any increases such as that, we would need to know far in advance. And so we did go back and forth for a while, and the amount is up 25%. They really haven't given us an increase in the past few years. And he was explaining partly that wage amounts have increased and the price of fuel has gone up. So I thought at this point in time it was acceptable. 25% is far better than 40%. And I was happy to see that they were willing to work with us. But I think next year we would go out for an RFP. Seeing that it's April, to go out for an RFP now, we would have great difficulty having somebody on board by May. So I did specify they need to let us know what their rate increases are no later than November. So.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is a public hearing to consider for approval a site plan for auto sales in the MU-C-D. This will be Pepper McClenahan, Community Development Director. Since this is a public hearing, time is 6:55, and I am opening the public hearing.
Good evening, Mayor and trustees. Before you tonight, as mentioned, is a public hearing to consider auto sales in the MUCD district. This is on 5 lots on the corner of Broad and Josephine. The location is currently vacant, and the applicants are Martin Land LLC, Will Gardner, authorized representative. Land uses to the north is vacant. I'm sorry, it's not. Oh, yes, to the north is vacant. It's the former mobile home park, which is now the Martin Park. To the west, we have RM zoning with an existing manufactured home park and residential uses. To the south, we have Front Range Fire and Rescue Station, Fireman's Park, and residential west of South Josephine. To the east is downtown commercial, which is a liquor store. The zoning, as mentioned, is mixed-use commercial downtown. The comprehensive plan for the site denotes downtown commercial and business uses. Notice was mailed to surrounding property owners within 300 feet of the development on March 2nd, and notice was published in the Johnstown Breeze on March 4th, no less than 30 days before the date of the hearing as required by the Land Use Code. As background, this staff report is prepared in accordance with Section 16.4.430 site plan. The applicant is requesting approval for construction of a building, parking lot, and landscaping for auto sales only. A use by special review on the site was approved by the board on October 28th with 8 conditions that are listed in your staff report. Review criteria from the municipal code states that the site plan must meet the following review criteria. All of the information required on a site plan is shown. The lot size and dimensions are consistent with what is shown on the approved final plat. No buildings or structures infringe on any easements. The proposed site grading is consistent with requirements of the current town master drainage plan on file at the town hall. Number 5, the density and dimensions shown conform to density and dimension standards of section 16.3.490 of chapter 16 of the municipal code. This is not a PUD, so it would end at that. The applicable community design principles and development standards have been adequately addressed, and the proposed development conforms with Article 2 of Chapter 16. Staff referral and comments. I will note that we received a 3rd submission for this late last week. And between the first submission and the second submission, the building was moved. There were no discussions about that in pre-app meetings or subsequent application meetings. So the notes back to the applicant was that didn't meet the downtown design standards. So the 3rd submittal moved that building back up to where the location of the first submittal had it, which is up on Broad. So staff and agency comments for April 8th were submitted as follows, and these were submitted on Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. Sheet SP2, individual platted lots of record, have lot lines on them, but the individual lots are not labeled. They need to be labeled on the plat, lots 17 through 21. Ingress and egress points should be clearly defined and widths labeled. Curbing shall be installed per comments from the Streets and Facilities Director. Sheet LS, which is the landscaping sheet 1.0, the landscaping notes need to be modified to reflect compliance with CDOT's landscaping guidelines and approved plant list. Note 8 shall be deleted, shall delete the reference to turf areas as there's no turf proposed. Streets and Facilities notes that curbing shall be extended and installed along the back of the sidewalk from the northwest median along the alley and around the corner median east to the trash enclosure. Prior to recordation, the site plan shall be changed to add information on curb cuts so they're dimensioned as required by 16.4.430B1D13. Traffic flow indicating one-way traffic through the alley, which is proposed to be to the east, and parking lot circulation and traffic controls, which is signage, as required by 16.4.430B1D25 and 16.2.215J for both parking lots and the alley. The town engineer notes that they need to show the traffic movements with a 16-foot alley. Two-way traffic would not be supported, and is assumed the desire is to continue one-way traffic movement. Currently, the proposed alley would be changed to a one-way east between Josephine and Irene. And that would impact the entire block. Show the location of the cars, assuming max density of the cars, which is proposed at 20 cars in inventory. The current site plan only shows 9 cars that would be placed on the site. Number 3, under town engineer, describe what services are being proposed. Uses must comply with the approved use by special review. Number 4, provide construction plans at the time of building permit. Construction plans shall show spot elevations, slopes, asphalt sections, etc., all information required to actually construct the site. We've included the Front Range Fire and Rescue notes. Their third comments include that the fire district is willing to approve the reduced width of the alley to a paved width of 16 feet if the applicant can show a turning diagram utilizing B40 turning template to show that a fire apparatus can successfully use a property's paved parking area to turn around and exit back to Josephine. And their second comment is that the applicant was originally notified of fees due on 9/22/20. They have been notified 3 times that fees are past due. FRFR will not approve of any site development activities occurring until all fees have been paid. Pro Code, the town's building official, along with the community development department and the town engineer, requested that the 9-foot area south of the accessibility handicap is for van access and not customer parking. It's striped like it's for van accessibility, but there's a note on the plat that indicates that it's customer parking. So we just need clarification. In addition, the town engineer noted that for ADA compliance, stop blocks installed 2 feet between the parking stall and the 4.5-foot sidewalk is recommended to maintain adequate accessibility from the handicap parking stall into the building. Conditions of approval: prior to recordation, a corrected site plan and associated documents shall be submitted, which addresses staff and referral agency comments, deficiencies, and any municipal deviations that are approved by the board tonight. There's a lengthy list of 13 conditions of approval, which I'm happy to go through. They basically range from landscape standards, and I will note that our current landscape standards do provide some alternatives for downtown properties. However, the landscape standards also require buffering between different land uses, such as commercial and residential, which is located across the street. That's to provide a break between headlights, noise, anything like that, to mitigate impacts between commercial development and residential. Landscape guidelines, because the landscape is proposed to be in the rights-of-way primarily, there is a little bit proposed on the site itself, but most of this is off-site landscaping. CDOT notified us that in order to landscape within Highway 60, the town has to apply for the permit. We have to be the applicant. We would then, through the site plan, assign the maintenance and responsibility and cost payment for the water to the owner of the property. Sections, these are the deviations from the existing code that the applicant is requesting. Section 6-2-721D4, I think that's supposed to be section 16-2-721D4, states that hard surface areas for commercial uses in the downtown shall not exceed 85%. The town engineer and streets director are recommending that the board approve 100% surfacing of the subject lots, as current stormwater improvements along North Josephine Avenue and proposed surfacing and curbing to be installed in the alley will sufficiently route stormwater off of the site. So the site plan as proposed is proposing 100% surfacing. There's no on-site detention or retention of stormwater. 16.1.150 of the Municipal Code defines an alley as a minor or secondary way that is used primarily for vehicular access to the back or side of properties otherwise abutting a street. Use of the alley as primary access to access a business from to access the business from Broad actually is not in compliance with code. Our code actually prohibits additional curb cuts out onto 60, even if CDOT did not make it difficult to accomplish that. The storm drain box that was installed in Josephine as part of that stormwater improvement makes it difficult to put a curb cut along Josephine into the property. So the best alternative is to allow alley access for customers and whatnot. So the town engineer, in evaluation with the streets director, both feel that that's an acceptable alternative. The existing meter pit and water meter, this is not an exception to the code, but this is a condition of approval. The existing meter pit and water meter on the location has been moved and shall not be surfaced over with concrete, asphalt, or other hard surfacing. The meter pit must be installed to a depth of at least 4 feet to prevent freezing. An updated water meter pit diagram will be provided to the owner. Number 3, curbing shall extend. Actually, number 3 is going to be removed. The curbing that will be installed in the alley will be along the north edge of the 16-foot area that is to be asphalted. That would be located just south of the Martin Park. There will be no curbing along the development site itself. Again, individual lots of record from the Town of Milliken plat must be labeled by lot number on the site plan. A signature block for the Board of Trustees attested by the town clerk needs to be added to the site plan. Direction of movement and traffic circulation throughout the parking lot shall be provided on the site plan. That is a requirement of 16.4.430. Notes on the landscaping plan and selected plant materials should be revised to comply with CDOT specifications and requirements. The narrative that was provided most recently contains a statement that the site development will comply with the downtown architectural design standards of 16.2.720. However, it doesn't specify how or if it actually does comply. Confirmation must be provided by the applicant. Just to give you an example of some of the things that are included in 16.2.720, it includes that any buildings that that are on corner lots where the entrance does not front on Broad has a minimum of 20% glass along Broad. Large picture windows are encouraged on the front-facing part of the building. Awnings on canopies and facade treatments are encouraged. There's some style requirements with adjacent buildings, and there is a section that says that new buildings must be constructed of rock, brick, or stone from the early 20th century. The owner shall file a drainage easement along the east property line of Lot 17, Block 41, to accommodate the roof overhang from the adjacent building and property. The easement shall be filed with the Weld County Clerk and Recorder's Office prior to recordation of the site plan, development agreement, and prior to issuance of building permits. The pending easement shall be included on the site plan. So I did include a picture in there that shows you the original property owner is the same as the applicants tonight. They re-roofed that structure prior to selling it, and the eave overhangs and encroaches on Lot 17, so that was brought up by the current owner of Lot 16. So one way to provide assurance to her is to include a drainage easement on Lot 17. The car lot inventory shall be parked in a manner that does not restrict use of the customer and employee parking or the accessible parking stall, and which does not interfere with traffic circulation of cars entering and exiting the site. Inventory is requested at a maximum of 20 cars per the application, or the number of cars that can be placed on the site without interfering with traffic circulation through the parking lot or parking stalls as stated in condition number 10 above. Conditions of the Front Range Fire and Rescue District shall be met. and conditions of the town street director and town engineer for the third submittal shall be met. The Planning Commission conducted a public hearing on the second submittal of the site plan on March 18th because we did not have the third submittal yet. They approved it with conditions, some of which no longer apply because of the change in the building location. But their overall recommendation to the Board of Trustees was for approval. So staff recommends approval of the site plan, subject to the conditions listed in the staff report and the referral agencies, and with any exceptions that are approved by the board to the municipal code.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I have questions. I don't agree with landscaping along Highway 60. 3 reasons. 1, people pulling out of North Josephine out of the trailer park, sight distance. I believe it causes a danger. 2, we're selling cars that need to be seen by people driving down Highway 60. And 3, it's not consistent with any other landscaping on Broad Street.
The board has the ability to grant an exception.
Other than that, I think everything looks good. And I don't know if those trees, shrubs, the evergreens that are put in there was requested by the property owner, or if it was a requirement they put in because the town was requesting it.
Which?
The south,
Along 60.
along 60, the landscaping.
We did request landscaping per the landscaping code in the municipal code. We also explained that there is some relief if they wanted to do that. Staff would support removal of the landscaping along 60. I still think we need to provide some type of a buffer to the property owners across Josephine. That's my 2 cents.
I wouldn't mind some low-grown flowers or something there, perennials. But as far as evergreen shrubs, people need to be able to see the cars that are for sale. And shrubs grew up over time, so I guarantee it's going to be an issue with people trying to get out of the trailer park on the Highway 60.
The landscaping code, Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich, the landscaping code does require maintaining the sight distance triangle at intersections, so we would be evaluating what's planted there. We know there's changes that need to be made to the planting proposed because it doesn't, number 1, comply with CDOT's plant list.
That's all the comments there.
Is there a chance with the landscaping along 60 to make that more rock and waterless? That kind of a thing, where it's still landscaping, but it's not shrubbery or trees, and not grass that has to be watered?
And there's no turf, right?
Huh?
There is no turf.
Not yet.
No turf is proposed. I believe all that's proposed in there are plantings and river rock.
Okay, river rock.
We prefer mulch, because rock goes through windows way too easy.
Okay.
And can you elaborate more on the, between the second and third, what the deterrents were on why the building would not have worked to the north?
The downtown design standards require that the buildings front on Broad. So I can look that up for you probably really quick. I have the, I have 16.2.721 up. And actually the building doesn't have a 0 setback like the other buildings down the block do. It is set back in a little bit. There is a little bit of a setback, which staff did not comment on, even though theoretically it does not comply with the strict standards in the code.
At some point, I'd like to get you guys up there for some questions. Okay.
I can look that up and come back to you later if you'd like to hear the presentation from the applicants.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, we'll continue with questions. Trustee Wakeman?
I do have a question on how many cars we're actually talking about, because some places it said 15 to 25, and another place has a space for 9 cars.
The revised narrative that came in with the third submittal lists 15 to 20. So it would be a max of 20, or whatever could be parked on the site that doesn't impede circulation and parking is the recommendation of staff.
So where was the 9 cars?
The 9 cars are on the site plan. That's what they're showing parked on the site plan.
Yeah. Section 11.
That's all I have at this time.
Okay. Trustee Rodriguez, questions?
I guess you've asked 3 times about fees that haven't been paid as of yet. Is there a reason why they haven't been paid?
I don't know. That is an
Have they been paid?
okay. As of last week, apparently the deputy fire chief didn't believe that they had been. They pay those directly to the fire district. They don't come through the town. That's their fees. So if they've been paid, we didn't receive information to that effect. Okay.
Trustee Meek? Any questions or comments?
No, I don't have any questions, although I do tend to agree with Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich that plantings along 60 there seem to be counterproductive.
Trustee Long, any questions, concerns, or comments?
No, actually, I was going to mention something about the landscaping on 60 as well.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I was going to mention something about the landscaping along 60 as well, but it's been addressed, so.
Okay. All right, this is a public hearing, so do we have any questions, concerns, or comments from the public? And the board might have some questions of you, so go ahead. Sure. Yeah.
Jason Fast, Mishler Construction.
Will Gardner, owner.
I'm going to just real quick touch on the landscaping real quick again there. If you do look at your landscaping plan, just to point out, we would probably both agree with you that we'd like to limit some landscape on that corner. So if there's a way to do that, I think the way the landscape plan is drawn is per code. There's probably actually a little higher percentage of landscaping there than is needed. And so I think there is an opportunity to peel that back a little bit. We'd love to do that. That saves some costs. But on the plan, if you can, it's a little tough to see, but Josephine, there is actually a pretty large, I'll call it kind of a nose sticking out there that is not landscaped on the plan. So a little hard to visualize on a plan, but there's actually a pretty large area of right-of-way that is not proposed to be landscaped, which would give you a lot of that visual through there. But we do tend to agree that if we could limit some landscaping on that corner, I think we'd be very, very amicable to there. So. What was the other one I was gonna address? Oh, the 9 cars, just to address where that was. We just drew cars on here just to give some perspective of the way they look on the site. It's a little hard on a car lot to really, which is why there's no striping on there to really say, okay, here's where the cars are gonna be laid out. It's really up to Will and staff there to move those cars around while keeping circulation through there. And we know that's a real important thing to do. But there's, my engineer just drew 9 of them on there. It was just an arbitrary number that he was just trying to show some perspective. So that's all I had to address there. So if there's other questions, we'll have some stuff here.
Other questions from the board for Mr. Gardner or his construction expert?
I don't have any questions.
So my first one was the Plan 2 versus Plan 3. The moving of the building, what was the auspice behind that and what's the preference?
To be honest, we would love the Plan 2. I think it would be better flow. But since the rule was it had to be on Broad Street, we went back to it because I don't want this delayed any farther. If they would allow the Plan 2 to happen and that was okay with you guys, we would jump at the opportunity, it makes more sense for the property, it'd be better flow, but we want to, I don't want to jump any hoops. I just want to, you know, that's up to you guys. If you would allow it, we would do it, but Pepper said that it was really not against, it was against code to do that, so we went back to the next to Broad Street.
So the code section basically says that the front line of all new buildings shall primarily be designed and constructed to align immediately behind the attached sidewalk of streets within the downtown. Recessed doorways may be permitted to create interest on the front of the building. So if you were to modify the location of the building, that would need to be added as a deviation from code, from current code.
It would seem to me that you'd have less water and sewer line to run if you left the building in the back. The other thing I think we should all consider is that a standard business has a showroom. These guys have a show lot. So usually in a typical business, you walk in the door and that is the product inside. Here the product is sitting outside. The building is not the product, it's more just for an office space, but I think it's worth considering that. I mean, if it was me trying to display a product, have the product on the street front, not the side of my building on the street. I'm not selling buildings, I'm selling cars, if I was them, so.
It's more of a security issue for me.
The back?
Put the building towards the back. As the police are going up and down the street, they can see if something's going on with those cars as they're parked along the front. And personally, this is more of our historic downtown, so nothing's really that consistent. I don't see a problem with setting the building back towards the alleyway. What does everybody else think?
I don't either.
I think it's better for sight, visually, people coming up or down.
Which one's better?
Setting it back.
Setting it back.
Setting it back, I agree.
I agree too, because it's also a quarter lot. I don't think it's quite as imperative that it be right there.
The other concern I had was you have two buildings with a little 10-foot sliver down and in between them, and then now you have to have a cop car shine his light down the little alley there between the two buildings, and that can be a little nook of mischievous activity.
This gives a better chance also to put awnings on the front of the building because it's facing the south where you get a lot of heat and sun. I think it's better designed, put it towards the back.
I would agree.
It's an odd lot. It doesn't fit a cookie cutter.
I do have a question also on the proposed bike rack. I
was going to ask.
Were you? Okay. I'll let you ask then.
No, go ahead and
Oh,
ask.
okay.
Why do you need
I'm kind of curious if is that the transportation to go there to then buy the car? So you leave your bike as a
I hate
trade-in?
to say it, we had the big salvage yard on 34 for 50 years. You wouldn't believe how many people walked to our yard.
Okay.
When they needed a part or they wanted to buy a car, they got there any way manageable. If it's something that's required, we're gonna put it in. If it's not required, I sure won't put it in because I kind of agree with you. Who's gonna ride their bike to a car lot? It really, I think it'd be more used by the liquor store than by us.
Well, the other thing I think about is it's taking up, at least if we're kind of thinking about Plan 2, which I'm looking at here, it's now taking up one of the spots along that curbside, which I would rather see the bike rack either in front of the building or, I don't know.
I would say I don't want to see the bike rack.
I thought we did eliminate the whole bike thing when we were doing the landscaping code, and I was going to ask, I thought, now somebody's going to think that the mayor needs a new set of boulder.
Actually, I think that bike rack, we probably misunderstood that there was a requirement for a bike rack. So,
okay,
we'd love to get rid of the bike rack.
Bike rack's gone.
You can make a portable one if you want, kind of move it around.
Cinder block and a chain.
Just a post.
The hitching post, yeah.
Light post. What was the other thing about the fire engines? So I'm kind of trying to ask questions or think about Plan 2. What was the question about the fire engines being able to get through or turn around? Do they have to literally do a full U-turn on your lot? Or can they just pull through and do the loop?
Looks like they can drive around the building when you go in number 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Real easy.
So I'm looking, Mayor and trustees, I'm looking at the referral comments for the second submittal from Front Range Fire and Rescue. They had the same comment about the 16-foot alley. So they're not comfortable that they have turning radius for their big trucks. And so that needs to be demonstrated. If you're considering going back to the second submittal, and I don't want to delay the applicant, but the conditions of approval were different for the second submittal. So, and I didn't include the staff report from the Planning Commission, but I can bring it up on my phone and read it to you if that's the direction you're leaning. So we make sure that any exceptions that they're requesting or any deviations that need to be, or any modifications that need to be made to the final site plan get accomplished for the second drawing.
I don't want to delay it. I know personally I'm more favorable to Plan 2 than Plan 3.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to delay you guys either. So.
Yeah, faster the better for us. I've lost my dealership license because I don't have a building, so I have to restart that process as well. They guaranteed I'd have it back once I have a building, so I'm without a job. I can't sell, I can't buy, I can't do anything until I have this building, and there's 5 of us that are employed there. So I love the idea of the second one. I prefer that one for the flow, and I think it would look a lot nicer, and it'd be just a easier access for everybody. And I'm willing to wait a little bit, but the sooner the better for us. Just, I need to get back to work.
So, question. If we go back to number 2, how much of a delay are we talking about, Pepper?
Mayor and trustees, I'm trying to pull up the town cloud now. If I can get that staff report up. Oh, you know what? I have it in the file. The answer to your question is, if I can read the staff report that went to the Planning Commission, you can consider what they approved, and if you concur or if you want to make adjustments, you could probably move forward this evening.
Okay.
Without having to table it to another meeting.
Okay. Any more questions?
I'm going to read the staff report.
Okay. Oh, we're waiting for the staff.
Then we can act on it.
Okay.
Tonight.
Got to close the public hearing first, though.
Yeah.
Before we move.
Right.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Pepper, would it help if I pulled it up on my computer for you?
I think for us to understand easily,
You got it?
more easily, is to read the changes rather than read the whole staff report.
Like I said, I don't honestly remember all of them.
Matt has it.
I have the
Never went
memo.
back to the other ones.
Matt has
Yeah, I have it up right now.
She's got it.
Did it sound like the...
Okay, now we're cooking with gas. So the pertinent sections of the staff report were the following conditions of approval: that a corrected site plan and associated documents shall be submitted by not late, well, you'll want to revise that, prior to recording of the site plan and documents, which address the staff and referral agency comments and deficiencies. They were not itemized in the staff report, they were attached. The town engineer and streets director are recommending approval of the off-site landscaping. It sounds like you may modify that. The town engineer and streets director approve a deviation from the surfacing maximum of 85% to 100%. A development agreement shall be executed with the owner of record and approved as to form by the town attorney and recorded with the site plan. If you modify and remove the landscaping from Highway 60, none of CDOT's requirements will apply anymore. Same comment from water and sewer about the meter pit and the depth. The owner shall file a drainage easement, so that's on there as well. And I think with that, you can maybe make a motion to approve the site plan second submittal with conditions outlined by staff and referral agency comments presented to the Planning Commission on March 18th. Does that sound reasonable, Matt? I'm trying to find an easy way. Where's the easy button?
Is it possible for us to simply modify the proposal that was submitted tonight rather than revert to one that is not on the agenda? In other words, go ahead.
I'm sorry. The second submittal was included in the agenda packet materials along with the comments from agencies and staff. It was just not the staff report wasn't included.
Okay.
It went to
Yes,
the
I
Planning
think we can
Commission.
proceed on that basis.
Any other questions, concerns? Okay. Any other comments, questions, concerns? Okay. Anything further you'd like to present?
I think, just to clarify in the CDOT right away, if the issue is just visual off of Josephine there, I think there probably is a desire, because I think we're gonna be cutting into the required landscaping a little bit there, so I think there is still some opportunity to put some landscaping in that right away. But what I'm hearing is we just want to keep that away so that the sight line off, if I'm pulled up to the corner of Josephine waiting to turn onto Broad, I've got to have a good view of both lanes of traffic there, right?
Yes.
So, okay, so I don't think it's necessarily getting rid of everything on Broad. We'd love to, but it's not going to look that great.
No, we want it to look. We want it to look good as well. We don't want a concrete jungle. That's not what we want either. We prefer having plants. My mom loves to do them, so I wouldn't take them away from her. But I think it'd be smarter to do flowers like Pro Tim was talking about instead of bushes, because the lower the better, and then if there's some color, it looks good.
Yeah.
Great. Right. Any final comments?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Time is 7:34, and I'm closing the public hearing.
Thanks.
Any further board comments? Hearing none, I'll take a motion on the matter.
I would make a motion that we accept site plan number 2, second submittal, with the eliminating the landscaping requirements to the shrubs down to some florals or flowers on the south side, and the bike rack, and the comments by the Planning Commission from the March 18th meeting, you said? Yeah.
Second the motion.
And is that subject to staff comments read into the record? Yes. The ones that Pepper just read a few minutes ago?
Yes.
Thank you.
Second submittal.
Yes, thank you.
Do I
And I
hear a
think the
second?
flowers could be covered in the development agreement to take care of that. It's workable for both sides. It's something that looks good. But I'm worried about safety on Highway 60.
Trustee Meeser, already
So
second.
that's all I got.
Oh, I
Sorry.
didn't hear. So we did get a second?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I'm sorry. Linda Meeser, second.
Oh, okay. Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Grandquist,
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
Trustee Meisner,
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman,
Yes.
Trustee Long,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich,
Yes.
Mayor Austin.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Still have to move the bike truck. Next item on the agenda is consideration to grant a lease agreement for installation of a wireless equipment on the town water tower. Matt Gould, Town Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a matter that came before the board, I believe at the last meeting. We had a proposal from a different company to mount wireless equipment on the water tower. One of the issues that caused the board to table this was the question of market value of that kind of access. Well, in the meantime, staff made a connection with Ascent, who is paying the town a percentage of what business they generate from use of the equipment on the water tower. And so what's before you is a lease with a different company. I'm sorry, a license with a different company. It is, I believe, non-exclusive. It is a 10-year lease. And as far as the question about market value of this access, I did my own very small amount of research, and it seems like that's all over the board, everywhere from no fee because the town might want to generate better wireless service, up to cellular companies, large cellular companies that may pay $1,000, $2,000 a month. So the value of this agreement is improving service, wireless service, and there is basically a royalty involved over the life of the contract. So happy to answer any questions. There may be a little more information in the memo.
Okay. Opening up for discussion on the matter or questions. Starting with Trustee Meisner.
I have no questions.
Trustee Rodriguez.
I realize that it is for 10 years, but it automatically renews for 5 years after. Are we aware of that? And do we have that on our list to review?
It automatically renews, but it doesn't. That's tricky because you can terminate at the end of that 10-year period by giving a sufficient advance notice before the termination date.
I just want to make sure that we have it on our calendar. Because it shows the 60 days prior to the end of the contract that we would have to give notice. So I just want to make sure, one, if it is going to renew, that we set up a 60-day notice
Prior.
to, and see if there's some type of negotiation we may need to do for more funds.
Or actually 90 or 120 days in that case. So that
Yeah, that would
we
be
can
much better, yes.
Get in front of it, yeah.
Trustee Wakeman.
I don't have any comments at this time.
Trustee Long.
Nothing for me.
Trustee Grandquist.
No questions or comments?
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich.
I have nothing.
All right, we've had all of our questions, so I'll take a motion on the matter.
I move to approve the proposed license agreement with Ascent Broadband LLC.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a second. Take your pick.
I gave it to Wakeman.
Okay, there we go.
Ladies first.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman,
Yes.
Trustee Grandquist,
Yes.
Trustee Long,
Yes.
Trustee Meisner,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich,
Yes.
Mayor Austin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, consideration for approval to convert the Sander truck to a water Truck. Scott Clem, Streets and Facilities Director.
Evening, Mayor, Board. This is reutilizing an underutilized vehicle right now for us to a much we had. If I remember, we probably spent close to $10,000 in rental on a unit for this last year. This truck's not utilized as it is. Actually, water truck's probably not the adequate term. It should be liquid, because with this we can shoot our de-icing chemicals, our road stabilizer, and use it with water applications for our grading processes or whatever else. It does come equipped with a small fire hose if the guys need to water trees, such as that. Your buckets for your beef and bean days. So, and unfortunately, the higher price, just as an explanation of that, is first, when we did bid it last year, put it out for a rough number for the budgeting, it did come in under the 40,000, but with all the increase in the last year with metal, as you see, it's stainless steel bed is actually going to be on this. It has actually come up over the 40,000 we initially budgeted, but that is also included with the higher price that they're going to redo the frame job, clean it up so it's not so rusty. The higher price is actually 1,000 gallons more than the lower price, and it's more of a high flow, low flow system versus just a low flow on the lower price. So it's actually 3 times the truck for twice the price, basically. So a lot more usable, a lot more functional. It will still retain the snowplow, so we will still be able to use it in our de-icing operations in the winter. We're not losing a snowplow truck in the process. We're actually gaining a truck that will be more efficient for smaller stows and ice storms. The liquid's a lot faster working than a dry chemical, because you have to start the brine with a dry chemical. With a liquid, you shoot it out, it burns the ice off. It's going to help with our dust control. We don't have to hire someone each year to come do that. We just got to buy the chemicals. We can do it as we need it. I mean, a lot more of the houses on the county roads, we'll be able to spot spray those to help with their dust control for the years. And then also when we grade roads, we'll be able to put the water to help stabilize them, because as we've seen the last year, the dry roads have really taken a toll on us. They're hard to keep maintained on us. We grade them every week, but 2 days later with dryness, it doesn't hold. So that's what I'm coming to you, is hopes that you'll approve the higher dollar one, just because of the purpose of the truck is more functional than the lower dollar. And like I said, it saves us renting a piece of equipment for 2 to 3 months every year. So, go ahead, Derek.
What is the life expectancy on the bed and the improvements versus the truck?
The truck only has 60-some thousand miles on it right now. With the maintenance programs we're setting into place, we're probably talking another 10 years probably on that truck, just because of the low mileage. It's been a lot of the problems we have with that truck is in the wiring on the bed and the bed itself. So the problems that it has now will be gone with the new bed. So this truck itself is actually a well-functioning truck. It's just neglected, I guess you could say, over time. So it's going to actually be more feasible for what it is, because it'll clean up a lot of the problems that's with it right now. So,
is the old bed, there's any recovery cost on that?
No, it's just scrap. It's got holes in it because they never cleaned it when they had the sander set in.
Okay.
They put the sander in, leave it, the icer would sit in it all winter. So basically, we can't even haul material in it right now because it falls out. So.
Right.
The extra cost is we only budgeted 40,000. Where are we going to pull the money from?
41 we did. So yeah, we're 1,000 over, which with the cost of our save on our lease, we were, I think, close to $8,000 with our lease cost savings this year. So I mean, we have room to move, if I remember right, don't we, Wade?
Oh, okay.
Good evening. I believe Scott mentioned it. The small increase in price over what we budgeted will recover by not having to pay the rental. That's the main piece, because the rental just on the water truck last year was $8,800. So we'll recover. We'll not need to spend that amount of money in addition to in order to cover the little overage.
Okay. Other questions?
Is there any type of warranty on the work that's being done?
Generally, there should be a 1 to 2 year warranty on the tank system. The truck, of course, not anymore. But the tank system should have a 1 to 2 year, which I can confirm with the vendor. I've used these vendors in other places I've worked, and he's a very reliable vendor. He does this. This is their living, his truck beds and stuff. He's actually the only one that was able to build it the way I wanted to. This was put out to 5 different vendors. I only got prices back from 2 of them. And he was the quickest and hit pretty much everything I wanted to hit with it.
Thank you.
Okay.
What's the turnaround to get this done?
Basically, if it's approved tonight, he would have the truck out of his shop by July. He builds everything in shop, so it's the fabrication time is the time on it. So every truck's built when he gets it in. So plus, like I said, that's the other benefit. We are going to a stainless steel tank, where the other one on the other truck would be a poly tank. So you're going to have a lot longer lifespan with the stainless steel versus the poly tank.
Other questions? It is open discussion.
The $8,800 that was put for the lease on a water truck last year, was that budgeted for this year?
So that actual line item is much more than $8,800. We rent a lot of different equipment, and so we didn't lower the rental line item when this, mostly an oversight on my part for not lowering the budget for the cost of the water truck when it was approved to purchase or to renovate this one. But the idea would be is that then going forward, we should be able to lower that rental line item sum by the savings on the water truck rental. But yeah, we left it in this year.
That was in the budget? All right, that was a question I had.
All right, this is a discussion item, so it's not really a vote.
It's on your action
No,
item.
it's on the agenda.
I've got it under discussion.
It's under action number C.
Oops, apparently I can't read.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Town clerk.
I didn't, but I will. Make a motion to approve the quote with industrial welding and supply for $42,850 for the conversion of the water truck.
Okay, I still second.
This is a strange
We're
meeting.
excited. Yes.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Long.
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trustee Meisner.
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman.
Yes.
Trustee Granquist.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich.
Yes.
Mayor Austin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda. Consideration to approve letter for inclusion of certain property into the Platte River Metro District. Matt Gould, Town Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a matter that was discussed at length at the work session before the last meeting. There was a very similar letter that was previously issued about 10 years ago, and nothing happened to the district that was being proposed at that time. However, the project in essence is being revived. There were a number of questions posed at the work session seeking additional material, and those were circulated to the board members about a week ago. They're also all attached here. So basically, this is seeking a determination from the town that there is no material modification to the service plan for, I believe it's Platte River Metropolitan District, by the inclusion of a specific piece of land within that district. And there is a proposed motion included. Happy to answer any other questions.
Okay, questions from the board. Trustee Wakeman.
I don't have any questions.
Trustee Rodriguez.
No questions.
Trustee Meisner.
She stepped out for a moment.
To the restroom.
Guess she doesn't have any questions.
At this moment.
At this moment. Trustee Granquist.
No questions.
Trustee Long.
No questions.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich.
I have none.
We'll wait for somebody to come back. Take a pause. Glad to know. Short break in case you need to get water.
There she goes.
Snow storage. Okay, Trustee Meisner, do you have any questions on the, just a second, let me roll back up here.
Metro District, Platte River.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Okay,
No, okay.
all right, hearing none, I'll take a motion on the matter.
Make a motion, we approve the, you need that one that's written?
I think that would be ideal. The reason is that
Okay.
there's a finding of fact in there.
Yeah, so I move to approve the proposed letter to the Board of Directors of the United Water and Sanitation District and Platte River Metropolitan District, and that the board adopt the following as finding of fact. That the inclusion of the Milliken Reservoir property and possible formation and utilization of the Special Improvement District for such property to finance, construct, acquire, and to operate the reservoir project only as a water storage facility benefiting in part the town of Milliken does not result in a material modification of the Platte River Metropolitan District Service Plan.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Meisner?
Yes.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Granquist?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you.
Thank you.
Discussion agenda. We'll go next to the updates to the design criteria and construction specifications. Don Stonebrink, Water Wastewater Director, and Scott Clem, Public Works Facilities Maintenance Director. I need a pointer direction.
Afternoon, Board. We just wanted to bring these to you. These were some changes me and Don have discovered as we've been going through our processes, inspections and stuff. Some of them were lacking, some of them didn't really fit to our needs in this town, so we just kind of, now that we have Tate on board to help us kind of clean these up, make them really quick, I guess we'll just kind of put it out there. If you guys have any questions or need clarification on any of them, I can go through them quick, however, whatever works the easiest for you guys, I guess, at this point, so.
Okay, how does the board want to do it? Do you want to walk through them?
Is it just the red line
Yes,
modifications?
in the wording, it's just basically the red line, and what that is that's the specs that we've been putting signs up to anyways. It's just basically changing bolt sizes and post sizes that were different than what were originally put in there. I mean, I'll go through my schematic ones real quick. That'll might help, kind of help. But yeah, basically the red lines is just changing bolt sizes and post sizes. So I guess we can start with detail number S11A. This is a complete different change to our alley sections. We left the alley section we did have in there as a standard, but what that was requiring was a paved or concrete alley. In the town of Milliken, we'll never do a concrete alley. That's just too costly for what we are. A lot more, maintenance to it. I proposed a plan that I found easier, that you're putting your swale and your water flows in the middle in a pan, 4-foot pan, concrete pan. Then we're paving each side of it, making a 16-foot to 20-foot alley. So that's the explanation. Basically, the first two details. That's a lot more functional alley process that we can do in the town versus a concrete one. The next one I have is S31. In our specs for patching, we didn't have a lot of these. S31 and S31A are new specs that we're adding that are built to basically new MPEG codes also. We ran into a situation in the last year with some of the potholing that was occurring in the new developments and on some of our old roads where they weren't being repaired. So we are adding a detail that they have to abide by now, and they can't just fill them with gravel and run away. So that's the purpose of these, is to eliminate the issues we had with the potholing that wasn't being taken care of. And the last one's S45 through 46, just basically is the same thing as the wording signage, except it's in the diagrams, changing the post size, changing bolt sizes. So basically, all basic and simple changes or additions that'll help benefit us in the long run. For mine, I'll let Don touch up on his real quick.
The changes we made to the meter pit diagram are in response to we had that cold snap and we had about 35 meter pits that we had frozen meters. So we clarified some depths and specifications to try and keep those meter pits a little bit deeper into the ground to get some of that ground heat up in there and keep the meters from freezing in the future.
Good. Okay, any questions from the board? This is a discussion, open discussion, so. Anybody with any questions, concerns, or comments?
Comment is on the bolt sizes. 10B, you need a space between or and 3 of the 3/8. Just a minor thing, though.
I forgot my glasses, so I can't do it.
It's only a space.
Oh, no, okay. Yeah, see, I can't, it all looks like this to me anyway, so I don't see any spaces right now, so.
Too much welding without your glasses.
Don saves me again. I will let Tammy know about that one. We kind of rushed Tammy in that one, so that was probably a catch that we didn't catch, so. I mean, we will occasionally be bringing these as me and Don go through, learn more. We're checking more. With these being pulled from another city, I mean, there was a simple one, I think, somewhere too, where Greeley had their roads listed, so we pulled their roads out and used their sign details and stuff. So as we're reading more, we'll bring them back to you in little groups as we find them, just so you guys are aware of the changes. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Spring cleanup discussion, Wade Nickerson, Finance Director.
Good evening, Mayor and trustees. So this just short discussion regarding the board's desire to do spring cleanup. I've been in touch with Waste Management. They are able to do a curbside bulk cleanup. The cost to that is $47,000. Very popular, according to them. It's very popular with residents, but not with municipalities because of the cost. So in comparison, our fall cleanup last year, the waste management cost as well as the labor costs for our own staff time was about a little over $14,000, about $14,200. So that's kind of the cost difference we're seeing. So what we're looking for is just the board's desire on two pieces, how you want us to do it, whether you want us to do it the traditional way where we set up and they bring the roll-offs to us and we fill them up. People have to drop that off, or if you want us to attempt to go the curbside type of pickup.
So
$47,000.
yeah, besides the price tag, I think honestly the day where everybody brings it over is cheaper, and I think it's actually more productive, because when I went there I saw, you know, the bikes and the washing machines and everything else that can actually be recycled set off to the side versus thrown in a bin and shipped to China or wherever it might be. Yeah. That kind of thing, and I think it's not only cheaper in cost, but I think it does produce better reutilization of the things that can be scrapped or recycled or whatever.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah. 47,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, and for me, I couldn't.
Comes with a lifetime warranty.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of money, and if we want to revisit that at a future time because of the cost, that might be something that we attempt to put in a couple of years when our current contract is up. Maybe we could include that and tie it into the overall cost of the RFP, if that's what the board would like to revisit at that time. So what I believe I'm hearing is we'd rather do the drop-off site, and then my next question would be is I'm just trying to work out timing with Waste Management. We've had spring cleanups in the past. We've had fall cleanups in the past. We've had both in some years. So we're just, once again, I'm just looking for guidance from the board as to how you want us to do that. I mean, for less than our one curbside, we can do a fall and a spring cleanup both. We're under the gun at this point in time to get a spring done. Our contacts think that they still can, but it might be a tight stretch to get it set up and advertised so we get get major participation this spring.
Do we typically do some kind of a refusal of construction debris? Like if somebody's redoing their fence, they can't just haul it down there?
No, I don't think there's. Yeah, I don't think there's much restriction.
Concrete, we don't take that.
Yeah, the
Okay.
hazardous stuff like well, I don't think we take the TVs or the paint and stuff like that. We don't take any of that.
You can't take shingles either.
And I don't believe that they'll pick those things up either.
Yeah. We've had other providers out there that would take tires or paint, but that's whole separate from waste management.
So are we still charging then for people to drop off?
Yeah, we charge it.
Yeah, my assumption would be that we charge the $10 per load that we have in the past.
Which is pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that's pretty reasonable.
Mead?
Mead.
Oh, mead.
So we were as well for many years.
Yeah. But then we started finding we were taking other towns' stuff.
Well, you have to have
An ID.
utility bill and their special coupon. And you got 2 trips. Free.
$10 is pretty inexpensive. Really?
Well, it is. It's a lot cheaper than a trip to the landfill.
Yeah.
I think it's probably too late this time to do the water bill coupon, but I like that idea. I mean, that kind of ensures that it's our people taking advantage of them. We're not paying for, Gilchrist or Johnstown.
But some people don't have $10. Some people don't have a car to take their load to the dump. So I'm looking at it from that perspective.
Pair up with their neighbor.
I mean, there's things to think about. We used to have a couple of volunteers through town that would pick up for those that did not have, that had trailers, open trailers. So maybe not for the spring cleanup, but certainly we can plan something, maybe with some volunteers for the fall, and maybe come up with a coupon for those that, have a hard time affording. So, but it'll give us some time to come up with something.
Yeah. To me, if you have a coupon in the water bill, that's a free dump. And then if you need additionals, then you can pay the $10, whatever it is. That seems like a reasonable, if you can throw it back in your truck or call the courier out to pick up your stuff. And I'm sure people have volunteered to do that.
Yeah. So did we have a plan for the scrap metal and old appliances or anything like that?
We put it off to the side typically, and then we either will take it to Anderson's.
Then we sell it, yeah.
Or...
It all went to Anderson's. We tried to, as we load, some of it unfortunately got mixed in as you were trying to throw so fast, but a lot of the bigger stuff we took, I think it was 2 loads this year to Anderson's, and it goes back into the general fund.
Yeah, so it defers some costs.
Yeah.
So I think there's somebody that'll come around and pick it up for free, that if it would save our crew time to have somebody else come in.
No, it really don't, because we're manhandling it, and then when we take it to Anderson's, they unload it. So you're handling it once and it's done, and it's out of our yard. A lot of things, if you leave it sit there, then you get people come rummage through it, throw it all over the weekend. So this way it can be locked up and put away. It saves a lot of regular headache for Benny and his patrols and everything.
Okay.
Besides which, at the moment, Anderson's paying 9 cents a pound for scrap.
Are they?
Which, you betcha, makes it worth hauling.
You do know they acquired the property on 34? Yeah, the whole Martin property. It looks a lot different right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think your question was whether or not to do it this spring. Was that the ultimate question?
Yeah.
I think
we talked about how to do it, but I don't know if we gave them a determination on.
We've had a lot of calls.
Yeah, we've had.
Let's see if we could get it in May, maybe.
Okay, we'll try and get it in May. Yeah, we'll work towards that, and then also a fall type cleanup. Okay, we'll work on that.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the pending annexation and zoning to the municipal limits of the town of Johnstown. Pepper McClanahan, Community Development Director.
Mayor and trustees, we've been notified by the town of Johnstown about this pending annexation because it's within our 3-mile growth boundary area, as well as an IGA that we have. The subject property being annexed is approximately a little over 114 acres, and it does border the town of Johnstown. It is located approximately 3/4 of a mile from the town limits of Milliken and about a half a mile west of our growth boundary. So our growth boundary stops at County Road 119, and this is butting up against what would be County Road 17 or Parish Avenue, and also wraps around and kind of fronts on Highway 60. I would note that Johnstown has Highway 60 annexed all the way out to their wastewater treatment lagoons, so they do have contiguity apparently. The other things that I noted were that the annexation impact report says that they don't anticipate any impacts at this time. It's currently zoned county agricultural. When it's brought into the town of Johnstown, they will zone it pending ag, or holding agricultural. But there is a possibility that this site may, that their existing industrial park may, through time, expand into this property. So this is presented per statute for your information, and if you don't have any objections, I will return the outside referral agency notice to them accordingly. If you have any comments, I'm happy to include those in their form.
Okay. Comments from the board? Any? Questions, concerns, or comments?
So where is it closest to us? I'm not sure I understood.
It's north of Colorado Sweet Gold.
If I may, it was pretty hard to capture with the maps because it is actually some distance. So this is the property. This is Highway 60. Our closest annexed piece is this little parcel that's north of their lagoon, and County Road 19 is right here.
Okay.
Okay. And then there's a little close-up map that shows the property a little bit better. So there's Johnstown's limits, County Road 17, 60, and it's this 114 acres in here.
Thank you. Any other questions, concerns, or comments? No? Guess we're good. Return the referral. Okay. Last item we added to the agenda was speeding in town. We're getting complaints. Chief. First complaint was about County Road 44.
Yeah, I got several license plates. I think there's a few out in the parking lot. I'm kidding.
It's a good thing because I'm parked in the street.
That was one of them.
It's a great meeting. So yes, we've been getting, Mayor, trustees, we have gotten a few complaints on County Road 44 regarding the speeding. Currently, the speed limit out there is 30 miles per hour. Again, folks going 40, 45 out there. So, and I think the biggest issue out there is there's a piece of pavement. People come in off of 19 on that county road, which is dirt. They hit that pavement, and they speed up. So there's that residential area there too. So, so Scott and I went out there today, and we kind of analyzed the whole situation there. And what we came up with is there's a speed limit sign just as you come off of County Road 19. Sorry, my allergies. You come off of County Road 19, and there's a speed limit sign there, probably about 10 feet, 15 feet. And then there's another one near County Road 21. So what we figured is that we need more speed limit signs closer to the residential area. So that's kind of one solution that we came up with, is having the speed limit signs there. So a little bit more visible to slow people down.
Do you think?
So that's.
Are you thinking adding signs, or also moving them, or not moving them, just adding them?
Just adding.
Okay.
No speed bumps, huh?
No. According to
potholes?
Scott, no speed bumps.
Bigger potholes.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll work too. Another thing that we put our speed trailer out there, and the speed trailer, a good thing about that is it captures the volume of traffic that's going through there, so that'll help us analyze the what time of day that we're getting more volume of traffic. So it could be in the afternoon, so if we do get a high volume of traffic in the afternoon, we can send an officer out there during that time to watch that traffic. If it's in the morning, we send an officer out there in the morning. So it captures a lot of data for us so that we can analyze that area.
Okay. Well, that should help with that. We also get speeding and running stop sign complaints out at Settlers Village. That one concerns me because we know we've got Civica going in there in August. And so we're going to have, just so you know, I was out at the Civica open house, I guess we would call it, Friday night. Talked to some of the parents that were out there. They're all very excited. But there are some parents that said, yeah, my child's walking over to the school or riding a bike. So it looks like we're going to have increased children's traffic in the area. Rather concerns me, especially if we've got people running stop signs.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we need to look at is calming measures, and some of the calming measures would be crosswalks. So we need extra crosswalks out there. Do we need signage? What can we do to, because if there's going to be kids out there walking, we definitely need some crosswalks and some signage. Kind of go out there and reevaluate that area.
I still like the idea of parking one of our extra vehicles out there with a mannequin in it. Just saying. They can't tell that there's nobody in it until they get right on top of it early morning.
Well, they might not steal the car, but they might steal the mannequin.
I would hope you would lock the vehicle.
I don't know,
Yeah,
Lois
yeah.
Ann, do we still have Carl?
Oh, that's right.
He drowned?
Do you?
That's sad.
Do you have a mannequin? What are you doing with a mannequin?
I'm not going to disclose that.
Especially on recording.
Right?
Well, you now have,
2 mannequins.
what are the names?
I'm not going to disclose that either.
I think she's going to abstain.
All right, we'll call them
Officer 1 and Officer
Officer
2?
A and Officer B.
Okay.
I'm just saying that, early morning and late afternoon, and then every so often trade it out with a real officer, and they might be a bit surprised.
Yeah, we utilized an officer this week and just put him on traffic enforcement, so it kind of helped us out a little bit, so he's not covering calls for service. He's just out there working those areas, and we can utilize him out there in that area as well.
And if we can find an old Crown Vic, paint it, Milliken colors, police vehicle,
Yeah.
we can use that as the
Yeah,
around
we can do
town.
that. We can do that too.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
It seems to me that we do have a lot of people running stop signs and speeding through blocks and just overall traffic.
Yeah, we received complaints throughout the community. Stop signs are a big one. Red lights are a big one, and speeding is a big one. So those, definitely are major complaints that we get.
Are you allowed to mount signs on stop signs, or that's the only thing that can go on there is a stop sign?
I'm not sure if it fits a MUTCD.
It would depend on the sign, where the sign's located, height clearances, stuff like that. Everyone would be at a different circumstance. There's certain heights, certain signs. Stop signs, generally, they try not to, just because it's a regulatory sign.
We could mount a sign that, this area is Cameron.
You could mount one like that because of what it is. I mean, one thing to look at maybe as Civica and with KQA in that area is doing raised crosswalks at stop signs to slow people down. That's one that's been considered before. But like you said, I mean, just stop signs with a painted crosswalk sometimes makes a lot of difference for people, a lot of realism.
Okay.
So, I mean, unfortunately, it's happening everywhere. I've talked to other public works directors, and they all have the same problems right now. The police departments are hearing the same things. I mean, another one me and Benny had talked about a little bit ago was possibly seeing if we can find radar flashing signs that we can mount under the speed limit signs and move them around to where we have to. But I mean, I think what Benny's doing the right thing. Getting our data is the most important thing. Because as we talked about earlier today, sometimes speed perception is different than what speed really is to people.
Yeah.
So knowing the counts, knowing the numbers, that helps justify what we need to do a lot of times.
I don't think this is a one-size-fits-all solution. I think we're going to have to try a variety of things, but at least we start trying it.
I think our most important thing is what he's doing exactly is getting our data first. From our data, we evaluate the extent we need to go. So.
Okay.
And the biggest thing is breaking the habit. There's a lot of folks that have a bad habit of speeding and running stop signs, so more enforcement, I think, would kind of deter that habit.
For sure. So we'll be seeing the number of tickets written go up.
I'm
right?
sorry?
We're going to see the number of tickets written go up, right?
Yes, they have gone up. Like we talked earlier, through email, I do have officers out there, and from last night, we have about 7 tickets from County Road 44.
Okay.
So there are people speeding out there.
7 tickets.
Yes. 40 and up. Oh, I'm sorry, 10 and up. 10 and up, some are 15. They get used to those county roads. A lot of the county roads are 45.
Okay.
And they're used to going 45, and then once you hit that 30, I mean, it turns into a pavement, so it's kind of...
Got it. Okay, well, just keep us updated.
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, concerns, or comments?
I just want to comment on the police department section, if I may.
Yes, please do.
I just want to congratulate the MYCL on the video and the $500 that they got. I think that's great. Hopefully we'll get to see the video. And then the other thing was I noticed that we had 14 counts of fraud.
Yes.
What was that about?
It's employment fraud. So we're getting a lot of folks that are getting employment fraud claims. I was a victim, so I had to file a report also. So it's more of employment fraud.
Thank you.
Unemployment fraud.
Unemployment, yes.
Is that something that's supposed to be reported to the police department?
Yes. Yeah.
Got
Do
one.
you want to report one?
You betcha.
Yes.
So they recommend that you report it to the police department, also to Colorado Unemployment.
Did.
And then freeze all of your credit reports because it's happened so much. Colorado is stating that it is due to Equifax and Target breach. But they changed their system at the beginning of the year and then outsourced a lot of the work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dusty Rodriguez. Thank you very much. Anything else? Take a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're out.